Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Blokey Gent. Now in this episode we are going to get to 10 ways to become a better gentleman. Let's get to work. So these are going to be my 10 ways to become a better gentleman. And this might challenge you, this might redefine some of the things you understand about being a gentleman. Hey, that's okay, just bear in mind it's my opinion. You might have your own opinions, which are equally as valid. So let's get to work. Number 1, find a hobby in which you are the best in the world or can become the best in the world. So in this case, think of, say, James Bond. James Bond is an expert in many things. And these are somehow related to his work or tied into his work. So, for example, I remember in Octopussy he says, he names a marine species, for example, and he it's at the top of his head. And that's an homage to, of course, the first James Bond book, which was written by an unrelated guy called James Bond about birds in Bermuda. Think also of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, for example, would write monographs, the fictional Sherlock Holmes. So he would say, I wrote a monograph on cigars, so I know this type of ash. I know this smell of cigars, so I know what he was smoking. So he looks for a suspect who is smoking a particular cigar. Or he would be a chemist, and he would find a new type of blood test, a new way to test to see how old a particular blood stain was, just by tipping chemicals on them to see how they reacted. So he had hobbies going which were related to his work, in which he was the best in the world. Number 2, gentlemen are not gentle. If you look at the origin of the word, Gentry, the family, it literally means the mob. Aristocrats were some of the most ruthless people in human history, just ruthless individuals. And they had to dress themselves nicely, I think, so people didn't basically run away from them, to show, we're the gentry, we're in command, And over time, this has become seen as slightly more feminized. That's the English. That's the stereotype of the English. They're a little bit. Some of the aristocrats. That's the stereotype of the English on the continent. So being gentle doesn't mean be nice. It means be firm with a smile. Be ruthless with a smile. That's you're kind of getting there if you're pursuing that. Now, it's the sheep who are kind, basically. Number 3, don't be a snob. You see so many snobs on the internet. These are insecure people. You see them on the watch forums. They hate Invicta, which is a glorious watch, which is pretty darn reliable. Hey, 2 months strong. Well, maybe it won't last a third month. We'll see. So Invictas are beautiful. But if you're going to be a snob and say, they're cheap, they're rubbish, you're insulting most of the population and you're putting yourself up there. That's not how you put yourself up there. You put yourself up there by being with most of the population. That's how the gentry became aristocrats in the first place. They were popular. They were actually popular people. So, number 4, surround yourself with nice things that you like, antiquities. Collect things. Be a connoisseur. Don't be afraid to be a connoisseur in something you really like. For example, with me, I actually like chess sets, but I like to collect all sorts of things. I wouldn't mind collecting microscopes if they were more reliable, and perfumes. So I collect perfumes. I've got 10 watches. Just don't be afraid to collect things and just buy nice things. Surround yourself with nice things, and then. Number 5, research those things. Find out how many hours of work went into everything. How many hours of research went into, say, creating something. Or say that little Seiko clock up there. How many hours of research actually went into it? Find out how it was made, how many years of experience that person needed to make a particular object. And you practice this habit of being curious. And the more curious you are, the more you learn about the world, your awareness increases. And as your awareness increases, your income goes up and your social position goes up. So don't be afraid to do that. To research intently, just anything, any particular thing. And it's about developing your curiosity. 6, associate with people who respect you, who don't shove you around. Don't just associate them because you've associated with them in the past. Be very picky about friends. Don't be afraid to push someone away. You will get better friends. You will find so much more quality people. I promise you. You will attract quality people. Number 7, read the great books and classics of literature. I'm talking the great books of the Western world. In particular, don't be afraid to read Shakespeare, but he actually wasn't a good writer. A great imagination like Lovecraft, but not a good writer like Lovecraft. Instead, read the Greek plays. The Greek plays are amazing. Read a few every month. They are just absolutely incredible, and they teach you the essence of the ancient Greek culture, which was the highest culture of antiquity. Don't be afraid to read more complex books, such as Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Now, number 8, collect stuff and wear brands, wear nice clothes, but here's the thing, don't wear a brand with a label. The Gentry don't wear brands with labels because they are the label themselves. So for example, you see the urban Gentry and he's wearing the crocodile, the Lacoste, right? And I'm thinking to myself, hang on a second. He's wearing a label. Now, yeah, okay, these days you do what you want if you're an aristocrat, or he says he's an aristocrat. But that's always been seen as a little bit tacky, and they try and avoid labels. Because a label shows a certain insecurity, it shows you're not who you are, you're not in command. But hey, if he likes it, he likes it. You know, I've got a Lacoste as well. So collect stuff you really like. So I've got, for example, okay, I'm going to tell you now, I've got 20 pairs of shoes, I got 15 pairs of sunglasses, I got 15 blazers and jackets, some of them are handmade, and I did not pay full price for any of them. Never, if you're a gentleman, tell people that you didn't pay full price for something, okay? And I've got 10 watches. Yeah, I like to collect stuff you like. Number 9. Awesome books on your coffee table. Put awesome books on your coffee table. So, Australia's finest golf courses, if you like golf. The Steampunk Bible, and you will get around to them one day. When you've finished reading all your other books, you will get around to the cool books. So anything you really like, pirates, private gardens of friends, something you're curious about that you want to learn more about, you know. It'll make you a more worldly person, a better person. Michelangelo, look at this cool book I found. And you just get these cheap in an opportunity shop. I don't pay full price for anything, honestly. And neither should anyone. Neither should anyone pay full price. You know, just amazing stuff. Or even say, oh, look at this huge one I got, you know, Italy. And these just live on the 2 coffee tables in my house, basically. So if you go to Europe, that is what you will see all the time in any tourist village. So do that. Number 10, read travel books. Read amazing travel books, as well as traveling yourself, and sort of compare. Don't read a travel book just because it's a travel book. There are a lot of losers out there writing travel books. You don't want to get their vibe, their sort of vibe, because a lot of these people, they're living out there not wanting to be a part of the world. They're kind of a bit like hermits, and they don't want to be part of the world. We don't want to be like them. We don't want to attract their energy. So instead, just read books that have been recommended. For example, I'll give you a good author right now. A great author, and it's obsolete. It's old stuff from the 50s and 60s. Colin Simpson, Australian author, The Country Upstairs. That book, unbelievable. It's about his experiences in Japan just after the war. I'm sure Ian Fleming must have read this before reading You Only Live Twice. And by the way, the James Bond books are also essential reading for a gentleman. Don't be afraid to read something like Steinbeck or Hemingway, a bit depressing. I'm going to start Islands in the Stream, his posthumous masterpiece. I'm not sure how it'll go. Hey, we'll see. When I finish all my other 20 books or 30 books. have field guides. Field guides make you an expert. Gentlemen are experts in particular fields. You'll be able to come across stones and identify them to people, and you might pick up a bargain. So don't be afraid to just flick through, keep field guides with you all the time and flick through them. Anthony Burgess, a little bit boring, not sure if I'll read that. His good one was Clockwork Orange. Other than that, I'm not sure. Oh, tea. Hey, want some tea? Okay, so let's do a bonus. Watch the classics. So in addition to number 10, reading classic travel books and classic literature, watch the classics. So what am I talking about? I'll show you in a second. So I've got these on video. This is what you want to be watching to become a gentleman. You want to be watching Brideshead Revisited. This is the one to watch, okay? I wasn't sure what the hell this was about. I'm sure the author wasn't sure what this was about as they were writing the book. The story seems to change, the characters change, it's a bit weird, it's a bit off, it's a bit very English, but you watch this, you will make you a gentleman. Okay. In addition, you can watch other classics such as, for example, I Claudius. A fun, weird. English is always weird. If you're weird, they'll think you're English. That's how it works. But I Claudius. It's a pretty darn good watch. This is the one to understand ancient Rome in the 1st century. I Claudius is recommended, but Brideshead Revisited, that will make you a gentleman. I also recommend Scarlet Pimpernel, daring, arrogant, a bit rude, an expert in all things, a bit of a wordsmith. Hey, he insults his characters all the time. The other thing about gentlemen is they're actually, because they're not nice, they actually do tend to insult a little bit, like James Bond. So they're not psychopaths. You don't have to be a sociopath, but you have to understand the reason they became aristocrats in the first place is they actually didn't like other people. So one of the gentleman things to do is to, if someone is really, look, only do this if someone is really annoying you. You might like to slip in a few dirty little comments at them. A few nasty little comments. I don't recommend that, but use it only in self-defense. If someone is really having a go at you, don't be afraid to use what you were born with. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. 10 steps to becoming a gentleman with a few bonuses in there. If you follow these steps, I think you're well on the way to cultivating yourself and changing yourself. Guys, thank you for watching the Blokey Gent. Cheers.